Today's transformation truth is creativity. Now, I love creativity because I grew up in Miami, Florida, and I remember as a young child, my parents used to take us to Disney World. And even though I'm not a child anymore, I still go to Disney World every year because when I go there, my creativity just soars. I always feel like I'm not thinking big enough when you're around that level of creativity. So my question to you is, are you an individual that actually is creative, or are you like the rest of the world that is living within a box? You see, the problem in society today is that we're all just living within a box and we're not seeing the solutions to the problems that we have. And in today's world, you need to think really outside of the box because we're seeing unprecedented challenges facing us. In fact, Albert Einstein said, you cannot solve the problems of today with the same level of thinking that created them. And that quote I remember very clear since the first time I heard it, because I find that most of our challenges is that we spend over 80% of our time focusing on our problems rather than solutions. And the challenge is that we don't see the solutions because we're so deep into the problem. So I want to make sure you understand that you can shift the level of thinking. You can change this paradigm for yourself just by thinking out of the box. Don't be this kind of rigid mentality or rigid individual that keeps you from actually seeing what is possible in your world. Remember what Albert Einstein said, you got to change that thinking. Well, that thinking begins by just stepping outside of that box that you were in. Now, that box sometimes is created for us, even with us realizing it. Maybe it was created by the set of rules that our parents had, or perhaps society and the rules of the city that you live in, or maybe it was policy within your work. Whatever the case may be, just know you have the ability to step away from it. I find that in my life, anytime that I've been challenged, I step outside of that box and I find my solutions. I want to share with you some of the things that I do on a daily basis that I get to step out of that box. The first one is I embrace my mistakes because they are my biggest lessons. Listen to me. All of us are afraid to maybe stepping out of the box because we're going to make a mistake. But just realize that unless we make mistakes, we don't learn. Remember when you were a child and you were trying to learn to ride that bicycle? Maybe you failed a couple of times, but you got up again and you kept riding, right? And within a period of time, you realized that it was so simple that you didn't have to think about it anymore. Well, life is about learning how to ride a bicycle. It's about being not afraid to be able to take an action step that maybe is going to make you fall a little bit, but then you just pick yourself right up. And then you do something that is really wise, and that is you reflect on what lesson did you learn when you stepped off. Maybe you were going a little bit too fast, boom, you fall down, you get up again and say, maybe next time I go a little bit slower. Or perhaps maybe you weren't wearing the right type of shoes, and then that shoe got caught up into the pedal, and that made you fall. Or maybe you were riding in a path that was not clear, and it was making the bike lose balance, and then you fell. All of those examples are just to share with you that mistakes are okay. Embrace them. But most importantly, learn the lessons that they bring you. The second thing that I do on a regular basis is that I keep an open mind. Many times in my life, I'm surrounded by meetings and people that are telling me what's possible and what's not possible. And then I go into my quiet place in which I say, okay, I know that there's something out there that is bigger than what I'm thinking. What is that? And then I start looking at models of things that really get me excited and then get creative, because that creativity only comes when you stretch yourself from what is in front of you. Or you get a piece of blank paper and then you create something from nothing. A lot of times that's a very good exercise because that's where you really don't put any limitations to what is possible. Painters usually use a blank canvas, right? And when you use a blank canvas, you can create a masterpiece just like Picasso did. The third thing is that I want you to listen to your inner wisdom. I have found that one of the things that limits my creativity the most is listening to other people around me, rather than just to listen to that little whisper, that voice inside of me that actually has the answers, that has the creativities that I'm looking for. So remember, there's three things that I want you to do today. The first one is I want you to embrace your mistakes and pay attention to the lessons that it taught you. The second one is keep an open mind, because that's what's going to allow you to step out of that box. And the third thing is listen to your inner wisdom. Stop listening so much to the outer voice and listen to the inner voice. That's where your creativity lies. Okay, if you do these three things and you live these three things, now you've actually done transformation truth, creativity.